From Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world, I'm David Gabbry, and this is the Vegas Faces Podcast, where we talk with Las Vegas locals about what it's really like to live in the City of Lights. Whether you're living in Vegas, moving to Vegas, or just visiting Vegas and looking for new adventures, together let's discover the hidden gems that make Sin City the most visited place on earth. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Vegas Faces, where we explore the local side of Vegas. What is it like to live in Sin City? I'm David Gabbry, and I am here today with the lovely Gio Chaparro. Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, Gio.
Gio.
Yeah.
Gio. She's our podcast producer and a Vegas native.
Absolutely.
Episode 3, Gio, how's it feel?
First, I want to say that song was amazing. I was dancing it out the whole time.
Get you hyped, get you going?
Yeah, that was great. Like, that was really like a great way to welcome. But I'm feeling good, you know? Like, I feel like this city has been the funnest I've ever experienced, like, growing up here. Like, I just feel like right now is the best time.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, you're I feel like in general it's rare to find someone who was actually born and raised in Vegas.
Yes.
You know, most of the people I feel like just, you know, move here from somewhere, including myself. But hey, episode 3, I want to point out that 3 is my lucky number.
Great.
I was born on January 3rd.
Ooh.
And my son Jordan, 10-month-old, he was born on May 3rd.
Oh, that's so sweet.
How fun is that?
How did you feel when he was born on May 3rd? Were you like, yes?
Yeah, definitely. A little bit. I was like, that's cool. That's
He's
fun.
Definitely like your twin. He's
a little
definitely
3.
your twin.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, 3 for me. That's a good one. So I'm excited to have you here, episode 3.
Absolutely. Woo.
Very, very fun. Right? There we go.
Oh, wow. I had to.
Yeah. So I want to kind of just like a little backstory on how you and I met. Mm-hmm. Basically, we started a podcast together for a company that I used to work for, and I found you and you helped produce it and made it what it was. And through that experience, had I not gone through that experience with you, like this Vegas Faces would not be here today. Like, okay, it's seriously huge. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
Right. But that's seriously, awesome. Like that was like the learning ground for like really like how do you start a podcast? Like how do you get it off the ground? What mics do you get? Like how do you plug all this stuff in? How do you record? How do you edit?
I thought that was one of the coolest, not to interrupt you, but
go ahead.
I thought that was one of the coolest experiences because it was just the first year of my freelancing. And I remember not knowing everything, you know? So when you called me and said, I'm going to do a podcast, I've never done a podcast before. So I was kind of like, I was open to it, you know, and researching stuff, and you already had a bunch of equipment in mind. And so that was like very easy, you know, and once we got there, you always had everything set up. You had everything set up. All I did was just like make sure everything was recording, which sometimes it wasn't. So that's good that I checked. But yeah, it was a really cool duo, I feel like. Very like, you wouldn't expect it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was like the funnest job I had, I think, as a freelancer. For
Very
sure.
exciting.
I think I mentioned that to you. Have I mentioned that to you?
No, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, if you ask Amira, like, yeah, she'll say like podcast stuff is really cool.
So cool. Yeah, like because at the time your background was video editing, was it? Video production? Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, hey, have you ever done a podcast? You're like, no, but we can make it work. I'm like, I
did say
like
no.
That. I think so, but which was fine, like because I saw your videos and I was like, I was like, how hard is this? We're like just sitting there, whereas like you don't have to do any moving scenes or anything wild and crazy.
Yeah.
But I liked what the videos that you had in your portfolio, and I'm like, yeah, like we're just sitting at a table like this. Yeah. How hard is it?
The reason why I was surprised saying, I just feel like I faked it so much.
Yeah.
So I made it, whatever. So part of me is like, I really told him that I didn't do a podcast.
But like, I appreciated the like, the honesty and that you're like, hey, we'll make this work. I'm like, I love that. Like, there's so many people
that's awesome.
Like we did a house flip when we first moved here. There's so many people that were like, yeah, I can remodel your kitchen. I'm a pro. I know what I'm doing. And then,
that's like, horrible.
Yeah. So it's like, it's nice to be like, hey, you know what? These are my set of skills. This is what I'm good at. Let's do this. Let's make it work.
So tough. Maybe that's not good advice. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, well,
It is, but like that's crazy to be like I'm a pro and they, that's really crazy.
because most people they just want like the quick business or whatever. But
Yeah.
I feel like for you in the freelance world, you're probably very referral based, I'd imagine. So like even if you get the job, if you don't necessarily do a good job, you might not get booked back or you might not get referred or anything like that. Like I don't know if you want to go into that more. I could be totally wrong. I'm just assuming.
The freelance world is everywhere. It's everything, everywhere all at once. That's a good way to put it. There's been times where I've gotten business off of talking to people like, on the street, people in my neighborhood, or just when I'm out to an event or something like that. But I was on like a bunch of websites, just trying to get like my name out, like LinkedIn and Upwork and all these things. And sometimes I wouldn't get booked back. Sometimes I would. Sometimes I wish I didn't accept the job again, no matter how much, money was a problem.
Yeah, like the client was just a headache to work with.
Yeah, like I had to learn so many lessons over and over again, but
What was like a hard lesson you had to learn?
If there's a problem the first time, it's probably going to keep coming up. Unless you have to put some type of boundary up,
Okay.
Even in business, I think boundaries are one of the most important thing because I don't want to feel like I'm being taken advantage of, or, maybe the client feels that way, and I just feel like communication is the best way to really do a good job and get booked up again or book with other people. But if you just keep doing stuff just for money and you keep doing stuff just to have something to do on your resume, it's not going to go anywhere. You have to really, create the perfect environment for yourself, So if you're getting paid nothing with this client over and over and over again, like that's on you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that happened to me. Like I will not go into any specifics there, but there's been times where I worked for people a few times and every time I was like, wait,
like you got stiffed, like you thought you were getting paid and then they
no, nothing like that, like nothing bad, but just like it was just more of a headache, you know what I mean? Like
you were doing it to build up your portfolio.
Yeah, like sometimes it's like it was hard times, like I just needed some work but sometimes the work is so much more than you think, and for the pay it's just tough, but regardless of all those things, I think you have to go through that as a freelancer to really understand what you're worth. You're not going to just one day say you need to get paid this. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to have that much confidence in it. But I've gone through enough stuff to be like, I can make quality work. So trust me. You know what I mean? Yes. But first year, you're like not confident.
You now know your strengths, your weaknesses.
Totally. So, but it's part of it. I think I'm only 1 year into like my business now. I have a job with it now.
Tell us about your job.
Yeah. My job is amazing. I love DraftKings. I remember,
and not because you're a gambler. Like
I've never made a bet on any sport ever. It just kind of came to me. I remember, like I said, last year was just rough. Like that freelance world is rough. It's really up and down. Roller coaster. And I was sending applications like 30 a week. Wow. Like I was just sending so much and getting the most rejections I've ever received in my life. And I would have like cool projects that I thought were going to be consistent. And, sometimes things happen and I just kept going though, I'm like, something has to come. Like there's just no way. And, I just tried, Indeed once. I never liked Indeed, but I tried it. And DraftKings was on there, and DraftKings got back to me like right away.
Wow! And what exactly do you do for DraftKings?
I'm a video editor.
Yeah.
And
so what does that look like for a big company like DraftKings? Like in terms of your schedule or the amount of projects that you have to work on weekly or monthly? Like what do they have you doing?
So I work for VSiN, and DraftKings acquired VSiN. And VSiN is like a 24/7 broadcast, strictly sports betting. And, they put me in, there was already like 2 guys on the video editing team, and they put me in. They're like, we just need help, like with certain things, like they're just not getting done, they're just super busy. And so I just picked up, stuff that was like being ignored. And it was just such a when they first had, I wasn't hired just yet, but on my second interview, I had 3 interviews.
Wow.
In my second interview, my boss now, he was telling me that it's like, it can be a really brutal job, and it's going to be to 24/7. So you can be called at any time, you know, any moment overnight, you know, like all types of like scary stuff in a sense. But, you know, my basis is in journalism, and that's how it is. Like if you put on shows all the time, it's just crazy. So I was like, I'm down, and you have no idea what I've been through this year. Like I will take it. So whenever it started, it was like the chillest job I've ever had. Like there was nothing crazy. I've worked at like retail stores, and, you know, I was a delivery driver for a pizza place. Like, you know, those were so much more stress than the job that I have now.
Okay, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I just work whatever they need me to, and I can work remotely.
Are these like videos that are on their websites, or like how, like once it's made, where does it go?
It kind of goes everywhere. It's all over like social media, so Instagram, YouTube. They have their own website. You have to like subscribe to VSiN to get like all the shows. And basically what I do is I make commercials. So between the shows, they need stuff to fill in. And you know, since it's 24/7, like they constantly need stuff.
Wow.
And they die. That's the first time I heard that. Like they said
the commercial dies.
Yeah. So they call it, kill, like when to kill it. And things, what's the word? They are like outdated. Right. So if we say like LeBron James like can't play for Thursday's game, but he plays for Saturday, like we can't have that video up, you know?
Strictly current event type
yeah, like it has to be like so fast because things change so much in sports. Wow. And it's mainly like football, but we do everything. But yeah, like things change every day. Like the odds change every day. Sometimes like one day I made a video, sent it in, and they're like, this player was arrested. So his odds changed a lot. So we can't air it. You know, like it's stuff like that.
So you'll make stuff and you'll be proud of it.
And all the time. It's like, it has to be a little bit, you have to understand that like some things just don't work the next day. Like some things take 30 minutes and it's already done. Like it's over with. So yeah, it's crazy quick environment, you know.
But it's making you better as a video editor, you would say?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're getting your repetitions in, you're really getting
that's really what it is. I'm grateful enough to be creative that does it all the time. You know, like I have my business and my full-time job. And my full-time job, it's like it'll be like the same thing every week. It gets easy, and then they'll throw me something where I'm like, wow, like, like this.
What do you do when you're like, oh, I don't know how to do that? Like, how do you then learn? You just watch a bunch of YouTube videos, or like, do you have to find someone who knows that can help you? Like, how do you, expand your set of skills when you're, you might be expected to already know how to do that.
Yep.
What do you do in those moments?
So, another thing that I'm really grateful for working here is, they are super open to teaching. And
that's great.
I remember like the first week, they had me doing commercials already. Like the first week I was there, they just taught me how to put it together, and then they're like, all right, you do it. And I have to shout him out, Tom. That is like my mentor. Like he is like everything he said I had to listen to. I didn't really care. Like I'd be like, ugh, and I would change it because I had so much respect for him. But he was there and he checked over every detail. And for example, he taught me basically how to do Photoshop.
Wow.
You know, like as a video editor, I learned quickly that they expect you to do so much more than editing. It's not just video editing with Premiere or Final Cut. Like they expect Photoshop and After Effects and a bunch of other stuff. And I never knew how to do that. So when I got to the job, Tom taught me Photoshop. Now I'm like super comfortable with it. Like I don't ever ask him for that. And with anything, like I ask people, I've always like calling people and they're always like, yeah. Hold on. And they're on the computer with me, like trying it. So yeah, I have like the best team. I can call I know like 6 guys I can call right now and they'll help me with something.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Were you always in how did you get into freelancing to begin with? Like,
yeah, okay, good questions. I love talking about this. Because I feel like I don't talk about it.
Like, wasn't that scary? You were like,
yes,
okay.
Yes, absolutely. So it was such an insane thing that I did.
And you already knew how to video edit somewhat, and you were like, all right, I'm just going to see what kind of work I can get.
Yeah, I've done video editing since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of fell into my lap. We can go into that in a little bit. But I was in a stage where I'm like, okay, I want to get a job, you know, that I can really make money and like chill out, you know what I mean? Maybe move out, you know? And, wow, I can't believe how far. Yeah, like this is so crazy. But when I first started LinkedIn, I like decked it out with videos and asked people to make me stuff. I joined a group and, I think her name was Krista. I haven't talked to her in a while, but Krista gave me the opportunity to like apply for a sales job. And, you know, she made me a portfolio of me. And I don't know if I had videos on there because I didn't have any like equipment. I only did stuff from school. So after school, I didn't have work of my own. But I got the interview and I made a video for them. So like I edited the whole thing, a voiceover. Yeah, I did the whole thing. I was like marketing them and how I would market them in Las Vegas. And because they're in Atlanta, they were in Atlanta the whole time. So yeah, I made a video for them. But once I was there, I didn't want to do sales, you know, like I really wanted to do marketing video stuff. And I was at that point where I like reached I don't know. I feel like it was like a climax of my life.
Okay.
Or it was getting so loud and I was like, I just want to run to the direction I want to go to. I'm tired of like doing stuff that I'm kind of like half in about. And on the same day, I dropped out of school and quit my job.
Wow.
And I said, I'm going to do this video editing like 100% full time.
Wow.
Yeah. So what an insane thing to look back on.
There must have been a stressful time, but maybe like a sink or swim, like really forced you to like really get it together.
I always thought I was like lazy, you know, like.
Was this UNLV?
No, it was with CSN.
Yeah, wow.
I was almost done with CSN. I had like a few classes
And
left.
for those who don't know CSN.
Oh, yeah. CSN is a college, community college here.
Southern Nevada?
Yeah. What is it?
College of Southern Nevada?
College of Southern Nevada.
I'm such a not
Do you
Vegas.
know that commercial?
No, but
Oh, man. Hey, anyone
like
from Vegas knows that commercial.
we've lived in Vegas going on 5 years now, and we're still learning. Like,
I get that.
There's so much to do and see, and you can't even do it. Like 5 years living here, like there's still restaurants where like, oh man, we need to try that restaurant. Like there's so much to do.
We will never catch up to that because it's always growing so much. But naturally, like Vegas, they have such long standing ads.
Okay.
That like.
So CSN's one of those.
Yeah, like it'll be around. Like, you know Glenn Lerner?
Yeah, okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Like Glenn Lerner's been around since I was,
attorney,
I feel like,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like the attorneys I feel like are the biggest celebrities here because Ed Bernstein, I don't know why I'm like
so these are commercials that they couldn't kill, right? Like going back to your terminology.
They're like, keep that up for 25 years. But yeah, I don't even know how we got in this conversation. Glenn Lerner.
Dropping out of CSN and you're like, yes. I'm just going to be a freelancer. I'm just going to go and do what I want to do.
I actually remember I got into UNLV and I had one business class.
Wow.
I was in business, like majoring for that. And, but I did go to school for journalism in University of Oregon. Shout out Ducks.
Yeah.
But
isn't that where Nike comes out of?
Yes.
They've got like the nicest uniforms. They're athletics, don't they?
You have no idea how like that school was just beautiful, like in so many ways. I would go back.
Was that Eugene, Oregon? Where
Eugene, Oregon. Yeah.
See, I know my.
Yeah. Hey, look.
I know my Pac. What is it? The Pac-12 now.
Oh,
when I was in college, it was Pac-10.
Oh, wow.
I went to University of Arizona in Tucson.
Okay, cool.
We were the Pac-10 back then, and back in my day, I'm starting to feel old.
Aw.
And then became the Pac-12, but yeah, Oregon Ducks.
Oregon Ducks.
Home of Nike.
I love Oregon. Like I fell in love with Oregon there, and that's a story of its own too. I was trying to do journalism there, but so expensive. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't even really want to do journalism. But remind me, college.
Dropping out of college, going freelancing, and deciding that you want to just focus on what you want to do as opposed to...
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I keep going out of track. Like, my goodness.
It's all good.
I had a business class. And
that's right, business major.
Yeah, and I remember one of the first assignments was making a resume. And I was like, this is tough because I've made like 15 resumes already. I don't know. It felt like I just had to redo a lot of things. And at that point, I'm like, I just feel like I'm wasting my time because I don't even know if I'm taking it so serious to finish in a good amount of time. Like, am I going to finish 2 years or 3 more or 4 more? And I didn't want to be like in my late 20s, like still doing the school. I mean, everyone's on their own time, but that's not really what I wanted to do anyway. So I think that's why I just made a decision. And my girlfriend made it kind of easy because she was like, you should. Like, you really love video editing. You're good at it. You know, you're not lazy. You know, go for it. And I was like, sounds good.
So helpful. All you need is like just one person to say, hey, you know what? You can do it.
Absolutely. No, and that's all it was. And she was like, you know, she was there the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Shout out Amira. That's amazing.
Shout out Amira.
Right? That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's, not a lot of people take that jump. A lot of people wonder, oh, I think I could do that. But there's so much more that goes with it than just doing the thing. Like, I feel like, anybody can try to like edit video, but to live the life of the freelancer who is surviving off of the videos that you edit, that's a whole different ball game.
It is a humbling experience. And I just told a friend who he was saying how he wants to get into something like that, like video or photography. And I just told him, just whatever you want to do, just do it right now. Like as soon as you can, because it's going to be such a humbling journey and you're going to make so many mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be up and down. But the quicker you learn that, like no one can touch you, like after you get to a certain point, you're going to have so much confidence in your own work and you're not going to remember everything. Like even me telling you, like, I wasn't remembering all this stuff in my past. And I'm like, wow, I went through a lot, you know, I just got my taxes done and I was like, I was going through it last year.
There's still always something to learn. It's always a learning journey.
And it was my first time doing taxes with a business.
Yeah.
And I was like, I brought in like the most crazy fat stack of paper, like I'm like, here's my rent and she's like, I don't need all this. Like, you just tell me what it was. Like, how much was it? And I'm like, oh,
that's
sorry.
Amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was way more serious than what it was.
You coming in with like a telephone book worth of paperwork.
And she looked at the paper and I was like, I'm so embarrassed.
No, I mean, but that's all part of the learning, right? Like, how are you supposed to know? Like, you the whole journey is like you're gonna get laughed at because of the things that you don't know. Yeah. But I also feel like there's people that they don't even want to go through that, so they'll just sit in the back and just kind of act like they know, but they don't know because they don't want to go through that fire of like figuring it out and like falling face first on the ground and it's a painful experience to be humbled. Like people say, like you got to humble yourself, you got to be more humbled, but like how do you get humbled? It's like, for me, I did stand up for 8 years and like that meant like getting laughed at, like not laughing with you, but literally laughing at you, like a room full of people by yourself. Like it's like traumatizing. So it's like you kind of have to go through those traumas in order to break through and like get on the other side, I guess. I don't even know if it's another side. It's just like you kind of you break through that and you just get better. It just makes you more, skilled at the thing that you really love to do.
One thing I'll say too, like there really is a barrier and it's a different world, like once you break it and really, because even when you start, you're not confident in saying I'm this, like, I don't know if you were like 3 months and I'm a comedian. I don't know. Like you're still like, I do stand up, here and there.
Yeah. You don't say it confidently.
Like this is not my career, but like when you have already done it, you will look at other people who are in their careers. Like I look at other creatives. I have a bunch of friends who are creatives now too. That's one thing. You know, like once you start doing your thing,
you immerse yourself in that world.
Yeah, like that world, it's a whole different world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a respect that people have for you already because they know that you work, you know, and even people who like perform, like everyone knows that that's terrifying, but he's up there and he's killing it. You know what I mean? And there's like, we know that now because we tried it. We try to do our own thing. And we failed and we embarrassed ourselves, and the people who are hating usually haven't tried it.
Yeah. They're too afraid to go through that fire.
Yeah. And that's how I always feel. I remember I went to like this place, and there was like an open mic, and I feel like I've told you this. Yeah. There was like a woman that was singing, and she did pretty well, you know, like you could tell she was a little nervous, but I feel like she did pretty well. And I heard a little like snickers kind of in the audience, but I was like, honestly, like y'all couldn't do this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like she went up there and she was hitting notes like high up there. And I was like, okay, girl. But no one would really know that, you know? And like you said, like comedians go up there and get killed, but everyone thinks they can probably go up there and kill it, but we really couldn't.
I feel like everyone thinks they can do whatever it is, whether it's like when we were remodeling a house, you know, people are like, oh, I could do that. I could drywall. I could do baseboards. I could paint. And you probably can, but how well can you do it versus the guy who does it every day and makes a living doing it?
Absolutely.
And, you know, same for video editing. I'm sure you have clients that are like, I could do that. What am I paying Gio for this when I can make a video? And then when they try to do it and realize how tedious it is, they're like, all right, Gio, come back.
You know, I've learned that like a lot of people have been telling me like, I can never edit. Like, and it'll be like people who film.
Wow. Okay.
And it just throws me off so much because, but for me, it's like the funnest part. Yeah. It's the easiest part. Like, filming for me can be like, oof. But it's still not that hard. I get that. But everyone, even like my mentor, Tom, he's even said like, oh, editing just takes way too long. Yeah. And I'm just like, I thought that was funny, you know, like that's what we both do all day.
Do you think that with the popularity of TikTok and all these YouTube shorts and reels, do you see editing getting easier? Like, do you think that there are people out there that are trying to streamline it and make it more user friendly? Like, meaning like basically do video editors have to worry that like, like what we do is going to become so easy that anybody can do it? Like, is there a fear?
Well, one thing I'll say is not a fear for me. But I think it's great that editing is it's getting more easier to use, for everybody. I think everyone has different art in their head, and however you want to present that, it's going to be different regardless. So if there's a person who can pick up editing really quickly, it's not so much worrying because we probably don't do different things. Like, I'm probably not the biggest fan maybe of doing that edit like that. You know, maybe I have my own way of doing it. But I think it's great. Like, I even, I was skeptical too about all the stuff on the phone at first. I'm like, a camera, you have to do a camera. But this year started and like, I just ditched everything. I ditched my camera. I ditched my laptop, and I filmed multiple videos on my phone with like a little stabilizer and CapCut. You know, CapCut's like a little editing, and CapCut is amazing. It has so many different features that, you know, Final Cut Pro would have, you know, but like on your phone, I've made like 50 videos on CapCut, and I think it's great. Like, I think the more people can learn, I think they can create like their own careers in their own house and stuff. And I think that's a great thing. I don't think any person who's professional and does it full time should ever worry about those kind of things, because we can just create. We have like new art and new ideas, but like we can really execute it as well. You know, like it might take some time and work for other people to get there.
Well said.
Yeah.
I want to transition to Vegas. I want to talk a little bit about you're a rarity. I'm telling you, like, I don't meet a lot of people. I hear that
all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, you know, born and raised.
Yep.
And you're not sick of Vegas. Like,
Never.
The people, not the people, but some people I've met, maybe they weren't born and raised here. Maybe they've just lived here 15, 20 years and they're like, man, I want to see, you know, different scenery.
Yeah.
But like, what was it strange growing up in Vegas? Maybe you just didn't have any concept of like, oh, the strip is right there, but like this is also a place that people from the entire world come to. Like, was there, like, what was the sentiment like growing up in Vegas? Like, did you know that you were in a city that people come from all over the world, that it's such a big, it's a big deal. Vegas is a big deal. Like, you didn't just grow up in any city. So what was that like growing up in Vegas?
I love Las Vegas, but I will say it is a common thing for people who grew up in Vegas to hate on it. I don't know what that's about, but it's like, I'm too young. I can't even go in the casinos. I'm not even, it's just that kind of energy, but I still feel like, I partied a lot since middle school.
Okay.
Like, I just feel like it's such an energy. And I'm not even talking about tourists, like, I never really lived around the strip, near the strip. I don't remember anyway. So I always had like a different experience from those things. I used to go into like South Point a lot. It's like a casino with like more older people, and I would just be with my mom. I remember like my girlfriend and her little sister, like when they go into South Point, they're like kind of freaked out by it. They're like, this is too much going on here. But I was there 10 years old, walking through South Point to watch the movie every Tuesday.
So it was like just common and normal for you to like
so
go into a casino just to see the movie, like to go to a movie
like
theater,
you just go to eat food and stuff. Like that's regular. Like, and even Amira made a comment. Like she's like, this is such a nice place, but the slot machines are ruining it. And I'm like, what do you mean? What else is it supposed to look like? In my head, but it's just such a normal thing to have slot machines everywhere. But that's the weird thing.
Especially like in the grocery store, right? Like you'll see slot machines
in
at
the gas station, in the airport. It does not matter.
That's right, in the airport.
There's this thing where like you weren't allowed to go in between the slot machines as a kid. But now that I'm like older, I still don't feel like going. Like, I can't even sit down without feeling like wrong about it. So that's why I've never gambled. It feels so wrong to me to gamble, funny enough. But I don't know. I feel like the strip and everything was like super important events usually, like birthdays. And, we would just go to the strip, and walk up it. Such a normal thing, really. Yeah. And to this day, like I still feel like I can walk down and up the strip, like just my headphones in and not feel a thing. Like,
and you've probably seen all the progression of the different hotels, and
yes, that's the best part.
What was it? The Riviera used to be here, and that was like the last hotel that they completely demolished.
I don't even know what that is.
No, like the North Side, where close to Stratosphere. I think it's now it's not even the Stratosphere Sahara anymore. It's the Strat.
Ooh,
that's right.
The Strat.
That's right.
That threw me off. I was like, the what?
Right. And then back to the name of Sahara.
Yeah, I love the growth of Vegas. I think a lot of people hate it. And I know, like, I always get mixed. Like, when I ask, do you like Vegas? Even if they lived here or not for a long time. And it's usually yes or no. It's never like, it's okay. But when it's no, it's like, it's just too many people here. It's too much construction. It's too many new things going on. But I think that's like the best part of Vegas, because when we were kids, it really wasn't nothing to do, because it was just gambling and, movies and stuff. But now it's sports. Now it's music. There's the arts district. There's new casinos. It's just so many like
is downtown
industries are coming.
Yeah. Is downtown a popular place when you're a teenager?
Shout out to downtown. I was not down there as a teenager, regretfully, but it's one of my favorite places.
They have those festivals, the first, whatever they call it, First Fridays.
Hold on, let me make some noise for First Friday.
Yeah.
First Friday changed my life, I feel like. That's where I met a lot of creative people there.
Wow. That's amazing.
I've made a lot of videos with people down there. Like, love First Friday. That's the best energy.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Shout out to First Friday. There's some people who don't know who First Friday is. Please go at least once. You have to go.
Yeah, it's a festival downtown Fremont Street, right?
Yep.
That is
no, not Fremont. Main. It's like Main Street.
Okay, Main Street Arts District.
Charleston, Arts District.
Okay. And first Friday of every month, right?
First Friday of every month. And it's it's just more people coming. Wow. It's getting bigger and bigger. There's performers. Like 18 Bin is like a bar, and they're always popping on First Friday. The Garden. Yeah. And then the Arts Square is cool. I don't know what the other thing is called.
Container Park?
No. You're close. Container Park and Fremont are not down there.
Okay.
But they're super cool too.
Yeah.
I love Container Park and Fremont too. But yeah, like that whole downtown there, like Fremont and Arts District are amazing.
When growing up in Vegas, are there other places that a teenager explores besides downtown the Strip? Like, for instance, just like it could be hiking, it could be like some hidden gem all the way in the burbs or somewhere.
Man.
Something that only like growing up in Vegas you would know about.
What were they called? I'm just like the memories right now that are so crazy that you're bringing up today. Like
what are those stones? Those giant stones that are painted that are like off the side of the highway.
Rainbow, Magic Mountains.
Okay,
I used to live right.
Seven Magic Mountains.
Yeah, I used to like live right there.
It's just like
these
giant boulders stacked on top of each other.
Those are awesome. Yeah,
and it's just random.
I didn't know about that till I was like 20.
Wow. Okay.
But I will say there's this. What is it called?
Describe
it's like it's okay. So you're in high school and y'all went to a party. Usually, so we were so bougie, I feel like, in high school. Went to a lot of like mansion parties and like Anthem and stuff. And which is so cool thinking back on it. But you would go meet up somewhere, like in the desert, and I forgot what they called it. The spot, something like that, like let's go to the view. Let's go to the view.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of different views in Vegas. And yeah, like, I don't know. I was just always in the restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
Always eating something.
Growing up in Vegas, did you ever feel at times like you were unsafe? Like, I feel like people that don't live in Vegas, they'd be like, oh, I could never raise kids in Vegas.
Get that.
What a
I totally
dangerous,
get that.
Like, did you ever feel that though growing up? Like, was it like, oh, we're in a city that it's a very transient city, like anything can happen? Like, was there ever that type of vibe?
It depends on like what side of town you're on.
Okay.
But naturally, since I'm from here, I just feel so comfortable and safe here. There's some places that I haven't though.
Okay. Yeah. Like any place.
Yeah.
Like every city's got like, stay away from
it
that
always
area,
has it. I did live like around the university before, and that was pretty tough. That was like that was a very different thing that I'm used to.
The CSN or UNLV?
UNLV.
You think that's a tough area?
It is.
No kidding, really?
Absolutely is.
No way.
And UNLV is a beautiful school, and it's tough around there. If you're a student, I'm sure you're good, but if you live around the school, it's a little different.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And how do you feel? I'm not asking you to be the spokesperson of Vegas schools, but I feel like that's another one that people are always like, oh, but the schools. How did you feel, education wise growing up in Vegas?
Yeah. So I will say that growing up, I learned a lot about how Nevada's one of the lowest,
okay,
in terms of like education, and we're just always like, 50th or 49th or something like that.
Does that put like a chip on your shoulder? Or you're like, I'm going to show them.
You know what? I was, what's the word? I'm grateful enough to have gone to schools that are a little bit different, like not public.
Okay.
I went to,
charter, private.
Are they charters? Lottery Magnet. There you go. I went to Magnet Middle School for performing arts, and it was like in a tough area as well. But at the same time, like I had a blast there. Learned a lot there. That's where I started my TV stuff, my video editing, and I went to a private school in high school. I went to Bishop Gorman.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you play tennis, right? Were you a tennis player?
Yep. Tennis player. I did the video stuff there. I did a lot of stuff there.
That's like Andre Agassi, right? He came out of Vegas.
Yep.
Was there a lot of that in the tennis world, playing tennis in Vegas? Like, I would imagine he has like a big influence or a big presence, maybe.
Andre had his own school.
Oh wow!
So yeah, like
okay,
yeah. So like that's probably like way better than us.
Nice.
to be honest, we had some crazy good players though. Yeah. But there'd be some players where like they only came to play tennis at Gorman. They're that talented.
But what about the Vegas heat, Gio? Everyone always asks about the heat. Isn't it hot? How do you play tennis when it's 180 degrees all year round? People think it's hot all year round. It annoys me. It bugs me.
Oh, really?
I feel like part of this podcast is for me to just tell people like, hey, it's only 2 months. Relax.
It's the worst 2 months ever, though. That's why. Like, it's so hot that you just will never forget it.
But I'll say this, though. I lived in Chicago. And you had 9 months of snow and freezing cold. So I'll take 2 months of really, really hot where you can just jump in a pool. You can go inside, get some AC. It's doable.
One thing I'll say about the summer, it's always hard. Everyone has a hard time. Everybody. And I remember even playing tennis.
We're all in this together.
Yes, 100%. It's not, people like, they're like, you find Vegas hot? Aren't you from there? I'm like, I'm a human being.
Right.
Like, no human being should be in 120 degree weather. No. Right. What was I even saying?
Oh, playing tennis in the heat.
Whew, I would play twice a day.
Wow. Okay.
5 days a week, 6 days a week. I was like intense playing all the time. And I would just get so dark. I would drink a gallon a day, sunscreen, crazy. I just remember like the air smell. Like there's a smell when it's really hot. And it's such an intimidating smell.
Like a cooking, like something's cooking.
Like it is so intimidating to get on the court, and like start working out. The first like minute I'm there, I'm like, wow, this is gonna suck.
Yeah, I mean,
it's gonna suck so much later too. That 4 p.m., the 2 p.m.
That's right. It gets hotter throughout the day. And
like don't be outside 12 to 4. That is like, you're going to melt. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Again, though, I'll still take it over wearing like 8 jackets just to like go outside and take out the trash. Like at least, nobody wants any extreme, whether it's extreme cold or extreme heat, but like summertime, like where is it like, pleasant? Like, I feel like anywhere you go, the summertime is pretty miserable.
I will have to say too, though, it's hot, but there's a crazy energy in the summer in Vegas.
There is, right? It's like you're talking about like the tourism, like everyone's here, pool party
like,
season.
People are outside a lot more. People are vacationing, and people are even like, I feel like I have so much energy for the summer. Like once it starts getting hotter, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do so much work right now. Like it's just like this hustle energy. Like people are lifeguards for the summer and they're towel girls. Shout out to my cousin Vicky. She's a towel girl. And it's just this energy. Like people are outside and really experiencing like Vegas. Like, cause now I work in a casino. Like now I'm really the stereotype, and we all are low key. Like everyone, like my girlfriend, works at fashion show. Like, like that's what I'm trying to say. Like we're all outside. We're all here.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, I think that I feel like we've done it. Episode 3. Yeah. I'm really happy that we got to talk about your freelance life. Yeah. Your growing up in Vegas life. Always, I feel like every episode we're going to talk about the heat. I feel like it's just going to come up.
And I feel like we should make an episode in the summer.
Yeah.
And you guys can like really feel what we feel. I think, wait, before you leave, I think I'm going to make a short film about the summer heat.
The Vegas heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I have to. I don't think anyone understands it like a native does.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, maybe I haven't lived here long enough to really, I'm still like when I first moved to Chicago, I was like, oh, the cold, it's fun. Like this is fun, snow. And then it was like, all
9 years, it's like you're so in it.
Well, I'll say this. When I moved here, I never realized that people, they go elsewhere in the summertime. Like they don't take winter vacations. They take summer vacations to escape the summer heat and go someplace cooler.
I know people like that. For sure.
In Chicago, it was like, let's escape the winter and let's go, let's go, the Caribbean or something like that. But here it's like, oh, it's summertime, time to book a trip.
Totally. I understand. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. Gio, this has been awesome. I'm really glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're going to be here to help produce this podcast. I'm super excited about that. We're going to get your skills. And also, plus, I really honestly can say that like this podcast would not be here had I not met you and had we not started a previous podcast and embarked down this journey of learning how to podcast.
Yeah, this has been like the funnest experience. So thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for being here.
Boom, boom. Las Vegas. I love you guys.
We'll see you episode 4. Thank you.